one player in particular, I think, in Emile Smith-Rowe, has had a fantastic start to the season, and their record signing, of course, taken away from Arsenal, playing in a kind of a free role in the middle of as like a number 10, a free roaming number 10 for Fulham, isn't he? And so far, Isaac, playing the kind of football I think we saw at the start of his career when he first broke onto the scene.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny going to watch him when he was younger and him and Saka bursting through, and probably Arteta has them two to thank for still having a job at some point, because it was them two really. They were the light in such a poor Arsenal side, and I think it was so upsetting seeing him go. Like, you never want to see one of the academy boys that then breaks into the first team. You don't want to see him go. So when he went, it was a shame, but of course you understand it, mate. He wants to play football. He doesn't want to sit on the bench, and that's what he unfortunately would be doing behind Odegaard. But to see him pick up exactly where he left off pre-injury is so great, because you just watch him and it's almost like watching your son play. Do you know what I mean? You're like, yeah, I'm so happy that you're enjoying yourself. Like, this is exactly what I knew you could always do, and I'm so happy you're going to do it, and he'll carry on to do it, and he's a fantastic player, and hopefully he just goes from strength to strength.
Well, you mentioned him looking like he was enjoying himself, and I think that's the thing since he's been back at Fulham, Myles, is this like feeling that he's like a big fish in a small pond almost, and I think that's kind of true, because his reputation has diminished a little bit, I think, since he's been injured, and he's not hit the same heights, but we know what kind of player he can be. Looks like he could potentially be one of those players that's knocking on the England door again, doesn't it? Because he had a moment where he was like on the fringes. And how many players are we saying that about so far in the Premier League this season? English players looking to break in. But I think with the new era starting, it could be a great chance for Smith-Rowe to kind of get back in the England fold, couldn't it?
Yeah. That's his only issue, I suppose, that there are so many in that sort of position that do it. But he's under an excellent coach with Marco Silva. He's got great experience from his time at Arsenal. And yeah, you're right. Now he is the man that the team's going to be built around. And he seems to be stepping up to that really, really well. The link-up play between him, Iwobi, and Traore has been really, really effective. We've got Jimenez looking like his prime self again. Yeah, his finishing has been outstanding. And then obviously you've got Reece Nelson, who he knows so well, coming in to kind of work with him as well. And he'll only get more and more game time for Fulham. So it is kind of laid out for Smith-Rowe to be the star now. And that seems to be something that's never really been daunting to him. He came into the Arsenal setup so young and was controlling games in the middle of the park. And he's a funny one for me. He feels like almost like a time capsule of this podcast, because he was coming through just at the time that we started this podcast. I remember talking about him going, oh yeah, good player, I just want to see him score goals. He never scores anything. And then he scored 4 weeks in a row after I said it was so ridiculous. So he's haunted me for a while. So it's nice to see him kind of hit this kind of prime period of his career now.